Hi, folks. Bog Panda presents Under the Covers with Pagan, an ongoing series where we meet with the founder, owner, manager, controlling entity, demigod of Pagan, Mr. Bilinski, Mike Bilinski. And he's going to talk about some recent cover songs he's doing, and we're going to go in depth on each cover song. So this is our premiere episode. You ready to go, sir?
Man, as ready as I'm going to be, sir.
Okay. Um, I'm going to ask all these voices as Alvin the Chipmunk, just to keep it. No, I'm not. But anyway, so question one. Wonderful Tonight, by the way, is the song. It's by a young man named Eric Clapton. I think he's an up and comer. You folks may see more from him in the future. Um, First question is, why did you just pick Wonderful Tonight as one of the covers you did?
So this is the one that really kicked off this project, and I wasn't sure if this song would even be released because I actually recorded this for my wife as an anniversary gift. So we met at the end of high school, and so I should start with really, I'm not really an Eric Clapton fan. That's important later in the story. Um, so we met at the end of high school. And I inquired to the gentleman who introduced us about her relationship status. It turns out that was her boyfriend. And quick thinking as I am, I thought of a really great save and said, not her, the other girl.
Well played. Good job.
Luckily, there was another girl. I couldn't, if my life depended on it, told you a single thing about her, but there was another girl. So I ended up having to go on a couple of awkward dates with some other girl who was there in order to back up my save of not your girlfriend, the other girl. One of those was to a school function where I ended up dancing with my future wife to this song while our actual dates looked at us angrily while this was happening, just stared holes right through our bodies. So it's pretty funny. It made the song stand out to me. I've never been a huge Eric Clapton fan. He's a little bit, especially in our slightly more politically correct times now. He would be canceled, as the kids say, for some of the stuff he's said and done over the years. So that was one of the concerns too going into this and selecting songs. I tried to choose songs that I have some sort of personal connection to, but also was somewhat trying to be aware. Not that I would avoid a particular song because I'm not that person and I didn't do the things that they did, but I also don't want to get involved in some sort of political or social quagmire that someone else who isn't even me started. So, but this one I recorded. We licensed the song. We had Fernando Perdomo play guitar on this, who played with Eric Clapton. So he played guitar on this. I got the license and set everything up with the record label, and then I was just like, "Hey, I'm going to leave it up to my wife whether or not we release this song." And they were like, "No, you should release it." And I was like, "Right, but I'll let her decide." It was her gift, so luckily she was like, "Yes, put that out, make back some of the money that you spent making this happen," which led to this project.
Oh, and props to I think you that song selection stuff is a in terms of an anniversary gift. You got to use judgment there because I did something similar with Mars Needs Women for my wife, and it didn't go over as well. So,
No,
pro tip for you: great song, maybe not a great anniversary song. Um, the second question was going to be talking about the players a little bit and to say why did you select these folks? I think it's going to be a little self-evident why you selected Fernando, but the players on this are Fernando and you on bass and Canjo, and more on Kanjo in a moment. But so was it just how did Fernando become connected? It was just as you were working on licensing. How did that play out?
so I was looking. I didn't want to use somebody that I had already used. I wanted completely different people on this. There's also, if you guys listen to it, There's clearly a female vocalist that isn't me or Fernando on there. Unfortunately, we can't discuss them. They were not allowed to be credited on the song because of contractual issues. We knew that going into it, though. This wasn't something that like popped up when we approached this person. They told us right away they couldn't officially appear. They could do it, but we can't, officially use their name in connection with it. That stuff happens sometimes. I wanted them to sing the song, so it was just an issue of unfortunately they're not credited. I was looking at different guitar players and Fernando's name popped up, and I knew that he had played with Eric Clapton. Most people know him from a music documentary that he was in called Echo in the Canyon. Uh, that was a popular movie that did really well as a documentary. But he's played with Beck, Brian Wilson, Neil Young, Eric Clapton, lots of different people. He's released dozens of solo albums himself. Great guitar player. And it also, this song really ended up setting the tone for the way we would go about this, which is so far it's all live instruments and one or two takes of everything, not overthinking things. I don't want it to sound rough, but I don't want it to sound over polished either. I wanted you to kind of get the feel, just like when I would record at Jim Gallagher's studio, of just a bunch of people came over and we were messing around and playing a song and give it kind of that live sound, but polished enough that we could release it on the streaming platforms.
Makes sense. Yeah, and probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. What we'll do is we'll make sure that the very end of this video will be the recommended video that's going to show up for you to click will be this version of Wonderful Tonight. And don't fast forward through this show to get to that ending part. That's illegal. So you've just got to go all the way through. But it'll be there to hear it. Like I said, and it's gonna be worthwhile because the vocalist, she did a great job. I've always been impressed with Shakira. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. But anyway, she did great. Everybody did a great job, and I Mike gave me some background information on each of the songs to help prep for these conversations, and I saw Canjo, and I originally thought Mike could possibly be spelling challenged, and he meant banjo. And I said, or perhaps not. And so upon a little bit of research, the world of Kanjo began to open up to me. I was very unfamiliar with it. And I've never heard you mention the Canjo before. I've heard you mention many other unique instruments and approaches to making sound that you've used in the past, sometimes involving nearly electrocuting yourself, etc. But which appears to be not an issue with the Canjo. But um, why did you talk to me a little more on why did you go? Because I don't know. When I start to think about songs, a Georgia Satellite song seems Canjo ready, but Wonderful Tonight, maybe not so much. What was the thought process there?
So I'm a big fan of Canjo as an instrument. For anybody who doesn't know what it is, it's an early sort of like homemade instrument that was really common in early blues and bluegrass music. So I have it as a prop here to show you guys because I thought it might come up. So essentially, it's a one string banjo, and you'll notice the frets look a little bit different than you'd expect. That's because it's fretted diatonically like a dulcimer. What that means is that this is a scale from the first fret on. It's a major scale. So it's also a pretty easy instrument to play in that sense. And what I did was went over some of Fernando's guitar parts, sort of accenting certain notes with this.
And for you folks watching at home, unassembled Canjo kit is going to run you about 35 bucks. If you want to buy it assembled, 42, 45 bucks on there,
Yeah.
depending, or more if you want to get, to go to the high end Canjo. You want to
I
go
mean,
that
you
way.
could go crazy, or you could just make it yourself.
You could- Yeah,
I did not.
although I probably frets would be
Yeah.
fret placement, I think by the neck. I think just let a professional do that work for you. But yeah, there'll be a Canjo coming my way here sometime soon. I think one string, I got a shot. I'm thinking.
String, it's a scale.
Yeah,
So you don't even have to learn anything. You just learn the songs.
there you go. Piece of cake. All right. What was your favorite part of making this cover?
At the time, it wasn't my favorite part, but after the fact was hiding this from my wife. So I have a recording studio in the house, and you can see there's sound treatment and stuff behind me, which does dampen the sounds, but you can still hear that there's music happening here. This is not a song we would typically cover under the Pagan banner. So she would definitely know what was happening here. So it was weird trying to clandestinely record this, particularly my parts. The singer and Fernando recorded at their own studios and then sent me their tracks, and I had to play along with them and then put everything together in the actual mixing and mastering. So mixing stuff, particularly the vocals, was tough because again, there's just no way to hide. She knows this song, so there's no way to hide what's happening if she heard it. So at the time, it sucked trying to make that happen. Also, some people may be thinking just use headphones. I actually very rarely record, mix, or master using headphones. I like to play it out loud because that's how most people are going to hear it ultimately. Then once it's mastered, I listen back to it on different speakers, including headphones, to make sure that that carries across and make any adjustments that I need to.
Excellent. Great. So last question. So I think everybody knows I am the wet sponge on the head of Pagan's electric chair. And so what possibly possessed you to not involve me in this cover?
I didn't know
Do
if
you
you were an Eric
regret it?
Clapton.
Oh, I know you
I
regret
do
it.
regret it. I regret it. I regret it, definitely. I didn't know if you were an Eric Clapton fan or if you'd be offended by the changes that I made to the arrangement. So this one sonically differs the most from the original as far as most of these songs go. My putting my personal stamp on most of these songs is switching out instruments and using different things to make the sounds. But for this song, I really stripped down the arrangement. The original song, I like the song, so five Eric Clapton fans watching this, don't get mad at me. It's kind of a noisy arrangement, though. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's very busy, the arrangement. So this version of it stripped down to bass, Canjo, Fernando's guitar, and the singer. So this is a very stripped down, just three piece, as if it was the three of us sitting in the same room, just playing it live. So it's very, very stripped down. So it's probably not the way most people are used to listening to the song. So I didn't want to offend Kelly with this arrangement.
Get used to that question. You're going to be hearing it a lot.
I suspect it.
So excellent. Well, let us know, folks. You want to spend a little more time under the covers with Pagan. You have no choice. We're going to be doing other episodes. So looking forward to that. And give the song a listen. It's great.
Bog Panda.